and welcome to another episode of the Basic Photodynamics Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Grosso, and for this episode, I have another great guest on. He is one of the hosts at WFAN, one of the panelists at SNY. He is the great John Jastremski, and JJ, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. How you doing today?
Chris, I'm doing fine, man. I appreciate that kind greeting. All's good with you, man. It's good to be on, and let's have some fun, bro.
Oh, hell yeah. Bro, I love your energy. Love your enthusiasm you're bringing right now.
Hey, dude, that's what I do, man.
I know.
Listen, no matter the time, no matter the day, that's what you're going to get.
Bro, you're like little Mad Dog, like mini Mad Dog, in terms of just like being younger. I'm sure you get that all the time.
That's not the first time I've heard that one.
Oh, my God. Dude, it's like to a T. I love it. Hopefully you have as much success as him, man. Like, make as much money as him.
We'll see about that. We got a long way to go before we're talking about that tax bracket, but thanks.
Yeah, you're on your way. But how's life, man? Just what's going on in life of JJ?
Life of JJ is fine, trying to stay busy. It's the slowest month of the year, but, we're finding a way to churn out shows between the fan and SNY and all the countless other gigs I got going, man. You find a way to stay busy.
Right. Yeah, so you got engaged, too, a couple weeks ago, man. Congrats.
Yeah, I was just saying, we scratched that one off the bucket list, too. So, yeah, man, 2021, hopefully going to be a big year for all of us. But, yeah, it's engaged life. You'll notice if you move in with your significant other, there's not that much of a difference until, you start wedding planning and whatnot, which we aren't there yet. But at some point in time, I'm sure I'm going to be driving Miss Caitlin to drink. But that's the way it goes.
Yeah, man, it's crazy right now. I mean, just like a little side note, my brother was supposed to have his wedding last October. He had to push it back twice because of this crazy time. So, I mean, yeah, man, don't rush it. As long as, you guys are doing your thing, I would just advise you, take your time with it.
Well, that's the plan, dude. And listen, thankfully, we're not in some sort of man rush,
right?
God willing, where things need to get done immediately. So, not too concerned about it at this point in time. Trust me on that.
Right now at WFAN, are you full time?
I am full time. That is correct.
Congrats.
Well, it's been a while. I mean, I appreciate the late.
I wasn't sure because I know you were doing. Now. Yeah, well, I know you're doing overnights. Like, I know you were doing that. Is that? Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was like considered full time, the overnight shift, and just hopping around there.
When I was doing. Well, I was hopping around for a while, but when I was doing Monday through Friday overnights, I was full time, and now.
I didn't know that.
I do the evenings. Correct.
Okay. Yeah. I know you're on in the evenings now, but all right, man. Good stuff. Career wise, things are shaping up well. Looks like, and in terms of sports right now, like what are you locked in on? It's probably like a little bit of a slow month, I would say. Always like February after the Super Bowl, little slow. I guess what are you locked in on right now? Is it basketball, spring training, NCAA tournament? I know you're a big Cuse guy. What are you locked in on? What's going on in the world of JJ sports wise?
Yeah, good question. I mean, listen, it's very tough to say that you're like locked into spring training baseball games.
Right.
Considering the significance of them is minuscule. But obviously you're following the storylines. You want to see what's going on with the Yankees and the Mets. And you're going to be talking about them a ton throughout the spring, the summer, and hopefully the fall. I would say at this point in time, though, Chris, what am I spending most of my time watching? I feel like a whole lot of basketball. Whether I'm watching my Orange, or I'm watching the Knicks, or I'm watching the Nets. I do, man.
You're constantly tweeting about them.
You bleed orange, man. That's listen. Right now, that's my my number one rooting interest is Syracuse, without question.
Okay. What are you thinking about the Knicks, though? Are you happy with what's going on there? Looks like they're showing some fight. Tibbs, Julius Randle making an all-star team. R.J. Barrett. What's your just big picture take on the Knicks right now?
Yeah, I think you have to be very, very happy with what they've done. I mean, look, I think expectations should still be kept to a minimum.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they're not winning a title.
They're nowhere close. Yeah, I mean, they're not winning a playoff series, but the fact that they're not a total laughing stock and
Right.
the fact that they're being run in what seems to be a pretty competent fashion and a competent manner, I think it kind of speaks volumes to where they're moving. I mean, listen, a year ago, 2 years ago, they were toxic, bro. I mean, there was nobody in their right mind who would even consider the idea of being a Knick and playing for the Knicks. And I guess in many ways it's refreshing to see slowly but surely that narrative's starting to change a little bit.
Right. What do you think they got to do to really get to the next level, the top of the East, the Nets, the Bucks, the Sixers? I think they're going to have to make something happen in free agency. I think that's like the route people are taking. I don't know if they should make a trade off get a superstar and trade draft picks, trade young assets. What do you think is that avenue for them to really get to the upper echelon here of the Eastern Conference, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, it's a good question. It's a loaded question. First off, they got to get better players. I mean, that goes without saying. I don't think I'm going out on much of a limb by saying that, but it's the matter of, well, how do you do that?
Right.
I don't know if, like, for example, Bradley Beal, who's a very good player. Bradley Beal and Julius Randle is not getting you an NBA title. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I'm sorry, that's not a title team.
Right.
So it really depends on what you're looking to build. And for me, I would not be looking to make short-sighted moves. I like Zach LaVine a lot more than I like Bradley Beal. That is someone I would definitely have an interest in. And, I guess you got to identify over the next year who are your keepers, who are the guys you're building with, and who are you looking to move to make this team, dare I say, a better team?
Right. I'm just trying to think the free agency route. I'm not sure who's coming up. Like, I know me as a Net fan, like the Nets obviously used free agency to turn this thing around. Kyrie, Kevin Durant. I'm not saying I'm a fan of how teams are doing that now. I hate how they're doing the super teams. I hate how Harden's kind of complained his way, whined his way out of Houston. I mean, I'm happy, like, he's killing it on the Nets. But, I'm just thinking, like, for the Knicks, free agency, like, that's probably the best route to go. That's what the Lakers did, getting LeBron. I'm not sure who any of the free agents are coming up, but I don't know. That's the route I would think they would need to take.
But it's about getting the right free agent, though.
Right. You need that
was
superstar.
Able to get Kevin Durant. They were able to get Kyrie Irving. It's a superstars league, but you don't want to go and get somebody who's a B-minus superstar, because then therefore, by definition, hey, guess what? They ain't a superstar.
Yeah, you need that A-plus guy. You need the Kyrie, the Kevin Durant. I'm not sure who's next in free agency in that regard, but I think that's what the Knicks need to do, and I think they're taking the right steps because, like you said, a year ago, 2 years ago, they were the laughing stock of the NBA, and now this year, I think the perception's kind of changing a little bit. I think there's going to be this narrative out there that, all right, Knicks are competent. They got their shit going. They got a good coach, well-respected coach, hard-fought team. So I think this year's been hugely important for the Knicks in terms of that, in terms of attracting and luring people to come here in the future.
Well, it makes it a better culture. That's
right.
Really what it comes down to, where it says, okay, the Knicks are a place where I can go and have success. And let's be honest, dude, for the better part of the last 20 years, that has not been the case. Not at all.
No, I think about, like, when I grew up, like, mid-'90s, late 90s, bro, that was, like, prime time. Like, the Knicks were, like, one of the biggest things going, always on NBC. And, I don't know, like, the Knicks, they still have this reputation, I don't know, as, like I said, not as much, but, like, a big, like, market team. I mean, they obviously are a big market team, but like you mentioned, it's been like 20 years since they've, really been relevant. They had the 1 year with Carmelo, but it's just been a while.
Way too long.
Right.
And that's the amazing thing about the franchise. The franchise still, to this day, dude, has incredible popularity.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant to say.
They've been awful for almost 2 decades.
I know.
I mean, let that sink in for a minute. How many teams are awful the way the Knicks have been over 20-plus years, and yet they still have a rabid, diehard, passionate fan base?
I know, that's that's why I think part of that is the allure of playing in the Garden. 20,000. I mean, obviously not now, but you got Celebrity Row. I think that's a really big part of it. But yeah, hopefully they can turn this thing around, get back to those days in the late 90s, early 2000s when they were really relevant. All right, let's talk Syracuse a little bit. I remember when I was watching them, like mid 2000s, I feel like that was their prime period. Hakeem Warwick, Jerry McNamara. I mean, Carmelo obviously winning the national championship. I feel like they haven't, they haven't been that relevant since then. They had the one Final Four run a couple years ago. Weren't they like a really high seed or something?
Well, that was the 2016 year. You're right. They were a number 10 seed. A lot of people were surprised they got into the NCAA tournament and they went on a ride. Listen, the last 3 to 4 years, they've been down as a program. I think their golden age, it's crazy. You mentioned Carmelo and McNamara. I would look at their golden age as a program, and I would say it was from like 2008 to 2016. I mean, they had multiple years where, they were number one in the country. They had a couple of Final Four appearances. They would have won, in my opinion, the 2010 national championship if Arenze Onuaku did not hurt his knee. But listen,
Wait, how good were they that year in 2010?
Oh, they were excellent, dude. I can tell you, as someone who was on campus doing all post-game radio, they were outstanding. They were a number one team. That was the Wes Johnson, Andy Routens, Chris Joseph, Scoop Jardine Syracuse team. That team was excellent, my friend. Excellent.
I love those names, those throwback names. Scoop Jardine, Andy Routens. I remember he was Canadian. I don't know why. That just stood out to me.
Hey, that's the stuff you remember, man, when you're a diehard Cuse guy and a Cuse alum like myself. You don't forget, especially when you're at school for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
You don't forget those teams.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's switch gears to the Yankees here. What are you expecting this year? I think most Yankee fans probably World Series aspirations. What's your take there?
They need to get to the World Series. I mean, listen, I think it's as simple as that. They're a team that's been knocking at the door the last few years. The American League is ripe for the picking as far as I'm concerned. It is not in any way a great league. Like, who got better?
Yeah, no one did.
Chicago White Sox. The Rays didn't get better. I don't think the Red Sox are much better. I think Toronto's a little bit better, but they're not on the level of the Yankees. Listen, if the Yankees can't get to the World Series this year, then when in God's name is this group getting to the World Series? That'd be my $1 million question. They can't get to a World Series this year. When are they getting to a World Series?
I know. It's been a while, man. 11 years. Like you said, no team's gotten better this year. Looks like it's their turn. There's no excuse this year. Boone's in his 4th year. I think this is the year they got to make it happen. Let's flip to the other side of the borough, Queens. Mets are my team. I was a little disappointed. They didn't make the big splash in free agency. Obviously, they got Lindor. A lot of people are assuming that's almost like their free agent acquisition. They're assuming they're going to lock him up. $300 million. My take is I'll believe it when I see it. I guess as a Met fan, I'm just not used to them doing that, making that $200-300 million investment. What was your take on the Mets offseason?
I thought all in all it was a good offseason. I mean, listen, they got Lindor as one of the 10 or 15 best players in baseball. They added him to the team. They got a starter who's going to profile as a number 2 or number 3 in Carlos Carrasco. They got better behind the plate. They're better in the bullpen. And they should be a 90-win team this year. Now, I know Met fans were all in on Trevor Bauer. That would have been a disaster here.
Oh, yeah,
I think some Met fans wanted George Springer. And I was far more receptive to that idea than I was with Bauer. But listen, you look at what Springer got. Let's be real. The Mets were not keeping George Springer and Michael Conforto. So I think they made a conscious decision to say, look, Springer, we like him. We like him to a price. We like him to a point. We're not going to go above and beyond that. The Toronto Blue Jays did, and that's why he is now a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. So That to me is the comparison to watch over the next couple of years.
Right.
Springer v. Conforto, and who you would rather have. We're going to find out.
Who would you rather have taken?
For this year, Springer. Over the long term, I don't know. And that's, I think, what the Mets are banking on. Because, listen, Conforto's a couple of years younger. He's a homegrown guy that they know well. And he ain't going to come cheap, man.
He's got Scott Boras.
He's not coming cheap. Absolutely.
Yeah, Scott Boras as his agent. I don't know, man. I'm just I think I would have gone Springer there. I think he's a guy who's done it in the postseason. He's put up 30 home run seasons perennially. I just think, I don't know, he was the guy. If I had to pick between them two, but I don't know. I'm kind of pissed that's even an argument a little bit. I think the whole perception of Steve Cohen coming on is, this guy's going to spend. It's a new regime now. He's going to put some resources into the club. They're going to spend like they did in the Minaya days when they went out and got Omar. I mean, in the Minaya days when they got Beltran, they got Pedro that first offseason. They signed Johan. That's kind of that's what I want to see the Mets return to. And it's just a little frustrating.
Yeah, but listen, it's not. But in fairness, though, it's not going to happen overnight. The Mets are going to spend money.
They're saying he's got $14 billion.
That's all well and good, but what did you expect them to come in and spend $500 million this offseason? I mean, what exactly were you expecting? That'd be my question.
Yeah, I just wanted to see them,
I mean, they got you Lindor, did they not?
Yeah, I'm just tired of hearing about money. I'm tired of hearing about money being an issue. Maybe because I see the Yankees do what they do. They go out, they get Garrett Cole.
Hey, Chris, in fairness, though, Yankees did not exactly go above and beyond this offseason.
Well, this offseason was different. I think that was pandemic related.
Well, in general, though, listen, the Yankees, yes, when they want a guy, they get a guy. That's true. They also will spend, within means now. They are not run the way they were run in the mid-2000s where they, spending money like drunken sailors. In many ways, that's not just a Yankee-Met problem. That's something you're seeing throughout baseball in many ways.
They're always up there, though. Like top two. I get they're not spending like drunken sailors, but they're always up there. Top two, top three in payroll. Them and the Dodgers. I guess I just want to see the Mets there. Like, I don't want to hear money being it. I don't want to hear luxury tax stuff. I want them to go after the best guys. Spend like a big market team should. And that's why I get a little frustrated when you hear the Springer Conforto debate.
I think you will see that, though. When they go
so.
and give Lindor $300 million, you're going to see that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
So you don't think they're re-signing Francisco Lindor? Come on. You don't believe that. I know you don't believe that.
No. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm just not – maybe I got to see this new regime finally make a big splash.
Yeah, I think you're being a little too dramatic, though, when we're talking about the Mets now and the amount of money they have to work with.
I don't know, man.
They didn't give up what they're not letting Lindor walk after 1 year, dude. Unless he stinks and he's terrible.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
They're not letting Lindor walk. I bet you whatever amount of money you want to put on it, it ain't happening.
I hope so, man. I just know from what Sandy Alderson's done, like in his tenure, like his previous tenure, they were just going bargain shopping. They were going after, mid-level guys, the second level of free agents instead of going after the top guys. Now I know it's a different ownership. I hope they have more money now. I hope Alderson will be able to use that. But in some sense, I get a little nervous. I think he prides himself on being that guy. Well, I don't have to spend $300 million to do it. I'm the guy who was big into analytics 30 years ago. I'm the guy who was, part of that early Oakland A's run. And I don't know. That's kind of just the perception I get. I'm a little just weary of Alderson. I don't know if he's going to take that chance.
Yeah, I think you'll have plenty of money on the payroll going into next year. I think you got plenty of money already on the payroll going into this year. They've increased and they've enhanced their payroll by a lot.
I see Trevor May, James McCann. I'm just tired of seeing that. They're like the second level guys. They're the bargain guys that the Mets would get in years past. Why get Trevor May? Go get Liam Hendricks. Don't get James McCann. Get JT Realmuto. That's what I wanted to see.
Well, that's the thing. You weren't going to get, though, a situation where the Mets were going to go spend $300 million this offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I think expectations, Chris, for you and a whole lot of fans, unfortunately, were thrown completely out of whack. And it's almost unreasonable to expect that. Dude, they're not going to have some $450 million payroll. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I guess I wanted them to get at least like two of the big big three. And I know Lindor will count as one guy.
But if they ended up with Springer, would you have felt differently about this offseason? My guess would be probably
yes.
Okay,
I definitely would have.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. I think I wanted like two big impact superstar guys, whether that was through free agency or trade. They got one in Lindor, and I guess I'm just a little disappointed. They didn't get that second guy.
They're going to be a much better team now. That's a play. Do you think they're a playoff team? I do.
I think the big key is Syndergaard. I think if he comes back and he's the Thor of old, I mean, you got DeGrom, you know he's going to dominate. 2 through 4, 2 through 5 could be a little questionable. I mean, Stroman wasn't that good in 2019. David Peterson, I mean, he was good, but very small sample size. I think if Carrasco could get back to his 2016, 2017 form, that's huge. So I'm thinking if Syndergaard can come back, be himself, I think that would be huge.
I don't disagree. I think if you're going to win the National League East, that might be your biggest key to win the National League East. Noah Syndergaard coming back after Tommy John and, you know, being the Noah Syndergaard he was in 2016, 17, beyond. Not the guy he was in 19. You're getting the guy he was in 2019. You're not beating out the Atlanta Braves.
Nah. Yeah, I know you're a little pressed for time. Last thing I wanted to bring up, I saw you are a huge runner. I see you posting on your Instagram story, you know, 5 miles, 6 miles. Bro, you're killing it there. I saw you had mentioned you did cross country in high school. Have you always been a big runner?
Well, it's funny. I was in high school. Now, 12 months. You know, I would run September, October, November, and that would kind of get me transitioned to baseball season. And, you know, going from there. And, you know, it was good exercise. I liked doing it. There were, you know, a couple of pretty girls on the team, so there was always, you know, that enticement for, you know, wanting to run cross country. But then, you know, you get into college. I stopped running. I'd go to the gym. You know, I just wasn't running as much. And then COVID happened. And, you know, Chris, I'm like,
you can't go to the gym anymore.
Can't go to the gym. You know, they shut them down. I was like, I don't want to be, you know, a bump on a log just pounding beers, you know, putting on some unnecessary weight and then looking like shit after all of this goes down. So I slowly but surely kind of built myself back up running. And, dude,
Bro, you're going 6 miles? You're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, dude, I want to run at some point a 10K, which I'm doing right now, so it's very doable. But, dude, I would even like to run a half marathon at some point in time, maybe even a full marathon if I build myself up to that. But, you know, it's great because you get great physical conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
You really push yourself mentally.
Yeah, I'm a runner, too. I love it.
You compete with yourself. I don't know if you're a kind of guy that tracks your runs on these apps or whatever.
On my Apple Watch, I'm all over it.
Well, and that's the thing, Chris. You know, I go back. I was in high school from 2002 to 2006. So none of this technology was available. I mean, dude, basically I was lucky if I ran with my iPod Mini or whatever.
Yeah, I had like the original iPods, like the blue, the silver ones, like those first ones.
Yeah, so from, you know, that standpoint, it's so drastically different. But it's great, dude. Like, I didn't run today. I ran the last 2 days. Got to give your body a day. I try to run 3 days a week. So I'll run tomorrow. It looks
like you run more than that. Like, from you, it seems like you post more, like 5 days a week.
No. I'm probably, I would say I run 3 to 4 days a week. But, you know, I still try to lift a little bit. I mean, I'm never going to get big with my body type. But dude, I love it, man. And now the amazing thing is, Chris, I feel like will never not run ever again. You know what I mean,
hell
dude?
yeah.
Like, even when everything opens up or whatever, I've developed too much of a passion for it.
Right.
I don't see that changing. I don't.
Right, yeah. I'm thinking the same. Like, once gyms, like, I mean, they're open now, but I feel like I don't even feel like going back to a gym. Like, I love it too. Like, just jamming out, listening to music. You listen to music?
Absolutely.
What's
dude.
on the
Everyone,
JJ
man.
playlist? I got to hear this.
Ooh, I mean, I got a good variety. I
Yeah,
should
me too.
share it on Spotify so you guys can check it out. But
Oh, man.
I mean, I'll
How do I
go
look
with
that up?
ladies. I'll have a little hip hop. I'll have a little classic rock. I mean, I got a little bit of everything on there, dude.
Yeah, me too. I'll have like Britney Spears on one song and then like Disturbed on another. Like I'm
There you go.
I'm all over the place.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. Whatever
Yeah.
it takes.
Bro, this was fun. Really enjoyed this. Best of luck with everything with WFAN, SNY, all your gigs. Really appreciate you coming on, man.
My pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me, dude.
All right,
you got
buddy.
it.
And that'll do it for another episode of Basic Thoughtonomics. As always, I'm your host, Chris Grosso. Want to thank JJ again for coming on. Fun conversation there. Feel free to follow me on social channels, on Instagram at Basic Thoughts Pod, on Twitter at Basic Thought Pod. No S on the end of thoughts. It's just singular. I should probably change that up just to make it easy. Feel free to follow my personal accounts as well at Chris Grosso16 on Twitter and Instagram. And thanks, guys, for listening, and hope you have a good weekend.